welcome back. I'm Courtney, and this is the Accounting Struggle, where we speak about our struggles with accounting openly and honestly. We do not run from them. And today's video is super impromptu. It's scheduled to be the same day of the week that I always release videos, so it's not that impromptu. But in terms of the topic, I wasn't preparing for this to be my topic, but it just seems fitting given everything that's going on in the world. This is really just straight from the heart, or off the top of the dome, as they say in the rap world. And I just wanted to kind of go over a few things that I would do if I were a senior in college getting my accounting degree, but I was sent home because of some crazy wicked virus, and I still needed to be able to perform at a high level in school. What would I do? What are some things that I can do to still perform well, do well in school, finish my degree, graduate, that kind of thing? Or if you're studying for the CPA exam, the same concepts will apply, but I'm specifically speaking to students who are sent home, having to telework or telestudy rather. Right now, I'm sure that's very stressful, but a lot of students were sent home. I think almost all colleges have sent their students home, and now everything is just going to be Blackboard and taught online, which I know I've talked about this before. I used to be a student online. I did the online school thing, and certain subjects are not meant to be taught online. They are just better taught in person, where you can easily just raise your hand and say, wait, can you go over that part again? I missed something. And accounting is definitely one of those subjects. However, there ain't nothing we can do about it. We're here. This is what it is. So we're going to have to just work around it and still do well in our courses. And I think that you can. So one of the things that I would do is I would reach out to other students. I would reach out to other students in the same courses that I'm in, the same accounting classes that I'm in, and partner with the ones, not any student now, the students that you know are performing well, or at least having a basic enough understanding of the concepts. I would see which students you could not physically get together with, but create maybe a chat or some type of study. Maybe you can do like a Zoom meeting with them, so that maybe 4 or 5 of you who are really serious about your accounting studies, you're really serious about your coursework, maybe you can get together on the side and just run questions together on Zoom or whatever source people use to communicate. It can literally just be FaceTime, whatever you're using, whatever technology. But just try and communicate with other people in the courses who are going through this exact same thing with you. You don't have to necessarily be completely in isolation in your learning. If you know you do better in a group setting, or you work better with others, then that would be something that you would still be able to have that communication with them. Like, say, okay, we have this quiz or we have this exam coming up. Does anyone want to get on FaceTime for 20 minutes just to kind of go over notes, talk about maybe some points that I might have caught in class that you didn't catch in class earlier in the semester that might be relevant. Things like that might be helpful. So that's something that I would do. Get together with the other students in the classes and see what y'all can accomplish together. Another thing is, when I was in school, every professor knew me. They might not remember my name. If they saw me today, they would be like, oh, that's that girl that was always in my office. I was always in office hours. I was always communicating with every professor. I was always asking questions. If you've ever been in a class with me, you definitely are like, oh, this girl with the questions. That's just who I am. I don't get things really quickly. Usually they have to be explained a couple of times, and even then it still might be like, okay, but I'm just not super fast like that. So I was always asking questions. But when you're online, it's a little bit it's a lot more difficult to ask those types of questions. So what I would suggest is, when you are working on an assignment or when you are studying for something, if you're hitting a wall with some of the concepts and you just need a deeper explanation, I would gather all your questions, and this is going to be a key concept that you're going to need to take with you into the professional world, because it is the same thing. When you get to a place where you're doing all of your work, do as much as you can, do the parts that you understand, and then all of your questions, collect and gather them together, rather than emailing your professor 5 times about one assignment. You can just kind of say, hey, I worked on this assignment, I have these questions, was hoping we could go over these. I don't know what the rules are. Maybe you can get on a call with them. Maybe it's not appropriate, not too sure, because this didn't happen when I was in school. But when I went to school online, we did have the option of reaching out to our professors and just scheduling like a little bit of time with them to go over things, because the expectation is that you will have, there is that communication barrier now, so that you will have questions and they expect that. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to be more flexible in their office hours. I'm not sure what communications they've set out, but I would let them know, even if they haven't talked to you about it, I would let them know, hey, you know, I'm a very interactive learner, if you haven't already noticed this far into the semester. So I will be reaching out. Is there a particular time or communication style that works best for you? But just get those questions in there. Don't assume, don't struggle by yourself. Ask the questions, but just ask them all at once. Because when you go in the real world, it is the same thing. You'll be working on an assignment. You'll need to ask a senior something, or a partner something, or whoever your manager is. And it is better if you kind of gather all of your questions, everything that you're struggling with, and just set up time to go over every single concept together, all of the questions at once. That'll make it a lot easier. So just remember that and get in the habit of doing that now. Another resource, which y'all probably already know this, if you're even on YouTube and you probably typed in something related to accounting, I don't know how you even got to this channel, but YouTube is a wonderful resource, especially for accounting. When I was in school, I think it was like my first intermediate class, the professor's teaching style was just not for me, and I struggled a ton. I was just really like having a hard time with intermediate 1. So I would go on YouTube and I would type in that particular chapter from that book, and I would see what videos would come up. And I wouldn't click on any random video, but if there was one guy in particular, I can't think of his name, I'll try to find the video and link it in the description, but he had the exact same textbook that we were learning from, and he would go through every single practice question. All of the information would be broken down in such a way where it was like, he probably was a professor. He had to be. I mean, his videos were so descriptive and so helpful that it was like he was teaching you and you were still getting a lecture. So I would see what videos and helpful guides you can find on YouTube and on any other search engines like YouTube where you get an actual demonstration. I think that will be something that you can use as a supplement, since you won't be taking actual classes or you won't be in class. And I know every college is different. There may be some professors who are maybe still putting together lectures for you to listen to. I'm not sure. However, if you don't have that and they're just kind of like, here's your assignment, here's your work, do the best you can. If that's your story now and you still have the rest of the semester, you still want to finish strong or improve, I would see what you can find, what resources you find on YouTube. There are so many of them. I'm going to search and find this person because his videos are amazing if he is still making them. I will link them in the description box. So another really big thing to mention here is something that you probably have picked up on by now, particularly if you're in your upper level courses like junior, senior year into your degree with accounting. You probably already get this by now, but now it's time to really, really tap into this and take it to the next level. You have to be super disciplined. If you are going to be finishing your coursework or your semester at home under completely different living conditions, completely different life conditions, because the world is kind of just on one right now, there's so much added stress, or maybe not, but there's a lot of things that have just changed in your world. So if you're going to be finishing at home, you have to really up your discipline game. If you were the type of student who, I'm trusting that you do have some level of discipline if you decided on accounting as your major, but if you were the type of student who didn't always show up to class, or you didn't necessarily go the extra mile, or maybe you would skip assignments here and there, and you're like, as long as I get a C. I can't imagine you're that type of student, because again, why would you pick accounting? But if you are, or if you had been showing those types of behavioral patterns up to this point, it's really time to stop playing these games. You really have to be disciplined now. No one's checking for you in the same way. Everybody's kind of gone now. You don't see the same people. You're not in the hallway talking to so-and-so that's like, hey, you know we have a quiz at 2 o'clock. Like, you just don't have that benefit now. Now it's kind of more so on you, or all on you, to really carry the weight and the burden of being responsible. So welcome responsibility. It is so much fun. But seriously, you really have to step your your game up when it comes to discipline. So I would suggest creating a schedule for yourself that mimics the schedule that you already had, so that things don't get too far off of the pattern. I mean, the way your coursework is going to be due, it should probably still fall in line with that, but maybe you had a work study at a certain time and now you don't have that, or maybe you had a certain job that you had to go to but you're not working there now. So a lot of things will shift, but if things are shifting in your schedule, just make sure you're trying to keep them as closely related to your schedule when you were on campus as it is now, so that way things don't feel completely out of whack and out of order. And just make sure you create a schedule for yourself that makes sense and that is going to give you enough time to put into the assignments and the coursework that you'll need to put into it. Because yeah, no one's really gonna be there to check in on you in the same way. It's just kind of like, assignment is due today, and there it is. If you had a roommate who was that person who was always like, are you studying with me? We're going to the library too, right? Like, if you don't have that benefit anymore, it's really on you now. So that's just something that you want to be thinking about as you finish out the rest of the semester at home. So the biggest adjustment that you might find is if you live at home, like with your parents or with family, and now you're back at home, you're not away at college, you're literally at home, but you still have the same coursework. I'm sorry. You're going to have a conversation with the people in your household. I said this in the last video about productive work from home. If you're working from home, you gotta have a conversation with the people, like your kids and all that. It's gonna be the same concept here. If you are now home, but you still have all of this homework and all this studying to do, you do need to have an honest and open conversation with everyone that you're living with about expectations. Hey mom, I know I'm back at home, but I can't wash the dishes right now because guess what? I have an exam. So, just making sure that people understand that just because you're back at home doesn't mean you're back at home from spring. You're not on spring break. It's not summer break. Everything is the same in terms of your coursework and the amount of work that you have to do. So people really do need to give you that space and that quiet time to study. And that may be easier said than done. I'm sure it is. But if you can find a dedicated space in your home to do your studying, it might not be ideal. It's probably not as great as going to the library in one of those little closed off rooms. It's probably going to be a little different than that, but you do need to have some space in the house where you can close the door and people will just kind of leave you alone, if that's possible. I get that that's not necessarily going to work for everyone, but if it is possible, that is what I would recommend doing. So like I said, all of this is just terrible timing. None of it is ideal. The whole world is going through it. We totally, it's nothing we can do. We just have to accept it. We're here. Let's just try and make the best of it. If you are graduating this semester, congratulations. Do your best to finish strong because your grades absolutely matter. It is not enough just to have your degree with accounting. I mean, if you're watching this and you're in a different major and that's not the case, then sure. But in accounting, jobs are absolutely going to be asking, well, what is your GPA? So you want to make sure that you're not allowing this having to be at home thing really affect your grades in a negative way. So I hope you found this video to be helpful, encouraging, useful information. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that. And if you liked it here, if you were feeling a good vibe, I'm feeling you, you're feeling me, be sure to subscribe so that you can, get more of the vibes here. We're here every Wednesday for your viewing pleasure. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best of luck in the rest of your accounting journey. Hope that things go well. Let me know in the comment section how they're going. I always love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.